Welcome to Espresso Yourself, Mom, Teacher, and Runner Talk, the podcast where lesson plans meet lattes and long runs.
We're four women juggling the journey of motherhood, teaching personal goals, and a whole lot of caffeine.
Here, we keep it real, the messy, the meaningful, and the moments in between.
So grab your coffee and join us for honest conversations, a few laughs, and a reminder that you're not in this alone.
Welcome back to Espresso Yourself. This week, we are going to be hitting on our hills to die on in teaching, momming, and running. And one of my hills to die on is we cannot skip our catch-up segment of our podcast. So, what's going on in your girl's life?
Okay, so I have two things just to come back on that I talked about last week. One is that clip chart system, which I thought was one of my hills to die on because I'm so philosophically against it. However, it has been really good immediate feedback for the students. It's like a pretty big chart. So I think next year I'll probably make it a little smaller, but if the kids get all the way to the top, they get a prize. And so they get to sit in a special chair, bring a stuffy with them or whatever. And so that's worked really well. And kids really want to get up to that. So that's had positives and negatives. So I think I'm going to keep it around probably for another month, maybe till not Thanksgiving, Halloween or something. So we will see how that works and if it's still needed for the whole class or just for a couple kids. And then the other thing was my step challenge, that there are 151 people in this challenge. I was in second place on Saturday. And now I'm in fourth place, and I want to know what these people are doing over the weekend to have all of these steps. The person who's in first place is 5,000 steps ahead of me. What in the world? Are they putting it on their dog? I took my dog for a walk today. I went for a 5-mile walk today. I did 10.3 miles yesterday just in my workouts, which is great. Yes, it's awesome. I love it. But what in the world are these people doing?
I know, I saw your reel. And you were like, are they a PE teacher? What are they doing? Training for a marathon?
I had that conversation with my run partner yesterday because she's like, yeah, when I did that, she works in my district. She's like, when I did that challenge last year, I was running half marathons every weekend, the half marathon distance. And she's like, I was still in 20th place. What are these people doing? How is that? Katie runs 10 miles on a Wednesday,
And I don't do that.
I don't understand how the first place person is 125,000 steps ahead of me. I don't understand it.
How do y'all track it? Do you tie it to your Apple?
Yeah. So whatever device you track your steps on, that's how it tracks through the app that we use. And the person
maybe they're doing this thing where they do this.
For an entire mile, my run partner and I had this conversation about what this person is doing in the district. Are they on a treadmill as they work? Are they working remotely so they can do that? I said, I'm a kindergarten teacher and I am constantly moving around the classroom and my school's pretty big. And so when we walk to the cafeteria, that's really far away. So I don't understand. I at least want to be in the top 3. We'll see. The person ahead of me is 8,000 steps ahead of me. What are they doing? And where were they a couple days ago? Did they not log into this app? Did they not update themselves? What are these people doing? I don't understand. So those are my updates in running and teaching this week. Basically, nothing else happened in my life. Here we are. What's everyone else up to?
I have a big PD day tomorrow, so I'm training the paraprofessionals. Especially the elementary ones. I'm going to have some junior high and high school ones, but this is geared more towards elementary, which the junior high and high school ones may not be fans of. But you know what? They'll just sit and see what happens. But that's tomorrow. And then really besides that, I've just been running. I have a half coming up in about a month. It is a month away from 2 days ago. So 28 days away. So I'm really hoping it's going to cool down some more. We had a kind of a cool front because it wasn't really cool. It was just drier, which has been really nice. And so I'm thinking maybe we're on the tail end of 90s. We hit 88 today. So I'm like, maybe we'll start shifting to the low 80s, but that's kind of just what we've got going on over here. Nothing too crazy.
That's going to be
So-
the first race any of us have had since we've started recording, I think. So that'll
Yeah.
be really exciting to hear how it goes and like hear how the whole experience
Well,
is.
I'll race on a Sunday morning and then I think we'll record that night. So
Uh-huh.
we'll see how tired I am.
What's the date of that?
October 26th.
Okay.
Okay,
Ooh.
cool. I'm doing a 5K the day before.
That's
Nice.
the
So we'll have,
that's the
like,
weekend of my
races to talk
son's
about.
birthday. And then Oliver has a little mini baseball tournament that day. So we'll have so much to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of weather, so my week, oh my gosh, we got to experience our first delay and cancellation. So iPads are not going home this year with kids unless there is weather predicted. And then if for some reason we would cancel, then we'll have a makeup day, which has not happened in years, like our built-in makeup days. Or they would just switch it to like e-learning where they'd have so many days to complete the stuff. But Tuesday morning, we had a fog delay. And I'm like, oh, well, I had a case conference for one of my special needs students. And it was a really important case conference. And they're like, we're going to see if parents can still come in. Are you able to come in? I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I don't have childcare. That's 2 hours plus another hour for my kids to just sit there with nobody down there. And so they were like, well, we could probably get through 45 minutes of it, the first part that you won't have to be at. So I ended up getting there like at 8:30 instead of my normal 7:45 time. But it was still like, I don't even get a 2-hour delay. My kids were so mad because like they didn't get to just hang out in the morning or have that extra like TV time before school or whatever. So thank goodness my coworker was there and she had her girls. So they could stay down there with her. It ended up being a 4-hour meeting, but I was able to be dismissed early. And then Friday they called for fog, so they sent everybody's devices home Thursday, and then we ended up having a cancellation on Friday. The fog was gone by 8 o'clock. We could have easily went to school, but I'm sitting here in the podcast room trying to do my Zoom because we have to Zoom for 2.5 hours with our kids on those days. And then the rest of the day is theirs. So we're just required that 2.5 hours of like Zooming. And then Oliver's trying to Zoom with his teacher. Hayes is running around the house. Usually I would send him to the date, like the sitter, but he doesn't have that anymore. Like, at one point, Oliver comes back. He's like, Mom, we have a problem. I'm like, yeah, what is that? He's like, Brutus pooped in the office. Are you kidding me? So, yeah. And then they just decided to eat a bag of chips and do whatever they wanted out there. It's such a disaster when you have your own kids and they're trying to do online school and you're trying to do online school. And I feel bad because he's got a maternity sub that was trying to do it with him, but there's just chaos. Yeah. And then
So
had
I have
the
a question.
sniffles.
Fog gets that bad up there?
Sometimes, and it's ridiculous. So Tuesday, the fog was worse Tuesday than Friday. And I think they probably got some pushback. And so that's why they were being safe about it on Friday because it was fine by 8. But it'll get dense enough to where you can't see like a quarter mile. But yeah, because we do have rural areas that still feed into our high school. So I think because of the high school drivers, they take that into consideration. But yeah, we've always only had delays, not cancellations. They're very rare. So I was super surprised. Like I would have rather just been there.
But does the 2.5 hours of Zoom count as a day of school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd work for me.
I know it does. I
We've
would,
only,
but it would just be easier to be there sometimes though. 2-hour
Well,
delay,
yeah,
get
I
the
would
day
agree.
done. But
Yeah.
I would rather do 2.5 hours of Zoom than have to make it up later in the year.
Right. But doesn't the 2-hour delay, doesn't that throw your students and yourself off and the whole schedule and special schedule and like...
It does, but this is our first year that they've actually changed our schedule. We used to in the past, everything stayed the same except for lunch might have gotten pushed back a little bit, but like we have morning specials. So on a 2-hour delay, we just didn't get our specials that day. So this is the first year that they've changed that to where they've modified our specials to where They push specials back. Everybody gets just a 20-minute instead of a 30-minute special so that everybody still gets their specials. So, and then lunches get shifted. So we have a completely like different schedule on those days, but I kind of like it because then I still get a prep on a 2-hour delay. But it does throw you. But a 2-hour delay in general just throws all the kids off because they're like, wait, we're eating lunch already? Wait, it's this time already? But
That's so interesting.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is.
We don't get anything like that down here. Like fog, it's like, just go to school,
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah, you guys probably don't have a whole lot of
I
like
think
cancellation type things.
hurricanes is about it. And it's only if they come. And then the few times we've got the freak winter storms that came through, like this past January, I remember it was MLK Day because I had Chevron, like I raced that Sunday, my marathon. And the next day we all had it off and that snowstorm moved in, which was like the freak cold front that came in. And I remember the next day they ended up canceling for us because there was still ice on the road. But like that's so rare for us. Like we never get that
Yeah.
because nobody here
And-
knows how to drive in ice.
I was going to say probably too, the fact that it's so unexpected and rare, they're probably like, yeah, we can't have school. These people don't know how to drive. Yeah. So,
But also you don't have the like ability to clear the roads though, right?
No.
So that's the other thing. I have a friend that lives in Tennessee, somewhere in Tennessee, and she's like, if there's a flurry, then school is canceled because there's no way to like, if there's anything more, there's no way to clear the roads. They just don't have the machines to do it. Whereas like in Chicago, you're going like because they're out clearing the roads as soon as there's a flurry and they're just out there, which I'm sure also in Indiana too, I'm sure. But yeah.
yeah. That and we have, all the salt banks that are already filled and ready to go for salt trucks. So, yeah. So, it's all the great differences between living in the North and the South. So, as we're talking about our week, and Katie, you said you have PD tomorrow. So, that is one of our teacher hill to die on, that PDs are more draining than helpful, because I know that there can be a lot of PDs where we feel that way and not all of them. And I feel like, it's such a tough subject because you are now in that role where you are doing the PDs. So like for us as teachers sitting there, sometimes our minds are like, oh, I could be doing this, or I could be doing that, I could be doing this. So what is it that you do to try to keep your PDs more engaging and not feeling where people feel drained and they're like, oh, I'm actually taking something away from this?
So I think, and it's funny, I even said this in my interview when I was interviewing for this job. They were like, so how do you handle trainings? And I was like, I don't ever want to be like sitting for too long. I want to get people up and moving. I want it to be something meaningful that they can take back, because I've sat in plenty of trainings where I'm like, this was terrible. And I almost felt like I could do circles around the presenter because they weren't trained enough, or I didn't feel like they had adequate enough information. And I mean, I don't want that to like sound any kind of way, but I mean, at the same time, I'm like, you are paid thousands of dollars from whatever company to come in and give this training. And I am sitting here going, I could do twice as better than you delivering that information. And so I'll say our district has done a really good job of that, where we have brought in those presenters and we're like, so now they just train up the teachers and the coaches in the district to give meaningful like PDs. And I think we do a good job of that. Now, I know not every district's that way, but I know for me, like I always think, okay, what can they take away from this? Because I never want to waste people's time. And that's like the first thing I say. I'm like, I don't want to waste your time. So if you already know how to do this, I don't want to be the person that's repeating, because I've been that person sitting in the training where I've heard that thing 3 times before and I'm hearing it for the 4th time. So that's kind of how I approach it. And I know not everybody's as lucky. Like I think our district's done a good job.
So I've had one specific PD that I walked away from it and I was like, this is gold. And part of it was, okay, so we like living in Southwest Florida, we are part of the Everglades. And so we yearly become Everglades champion schools. And essentially what our PD person, we got paid for it. It was at night. The trainer, first of all, she knew her stuff. She was on top of everything. She could answer any question, but also we were learning about stuff that was happening in our own backyard. So that was helpful to have that connection. But she said, okay, here is an activity for every single grade. We're going to spend a little bit of time going through the activity so that you know what it feels like when you do it with your students. So I thought that was so valuable to go through it and kind of feel it and know what it might be like when you go through it with your students. But another training that I've had when I was in Chicago, we had, what are they called? Like just one person who came to us repeatedly. She was on a 5-year contract. And so she came into our classrooms. She met with us, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 times a year. And those repeated PDs were so helpful. And you form that relationship with the person who's giving the PD so that they understand who you are and they're not just there to present. So, Katie, when you say there's a lot of people from your district that are doing it, I think that is so invaluable because you're not speaking as just a presenter, you're speaking as a facilitator that's understanding what is actually happening in the district. So I think that's so helpful. But I mean, of course, there's been plenty of PDs where things that they have to do. And then you're like, but could this have been an email? But those were a couple of the positive experiences that I've had. And I will still text our person that we used in Chicago and be like, hey, can I have an idea for this? Because that's how valuable she was to me as a teacher. So I don't know, I think those sorts of things are good. I would die on that hill of having someone repeatedly who can follow up and then improve your teaching because that's what PD really is for.
Yeah, I feel like our district, it sometimes seems like they're just pushing people in to fill a space. Like, oh, we need a PD, so let's push this in. Or we have to fill our PD time. And it never seems like it's consistent or it's valuable. I'm like, what are we doing? Or they'll do it, present it, and then there's no follow-up with it. And it's so frustrating. Like we just had a flex day last Friday, and that's like usually it's a half a day of PD and then we have work time. Well, it was all about our new science curriculum, and everything we went over was stuff we already went over, stuff we already knew. We did not learn any new things. Then we had like time to collaborate with all of the 4th grader, like all 4th grade met, all 2nd grade and so forth. But it still was like nothing productive was done. Nothing new was taken away from it. And it just felt like such a waste. And that's like, I think the hardest part of PDs because you don't know what you're going to get. You either walk away feeling like, wow, that was amazing, or you're like, that was a waste of my time. You're either getting one or the other, it seems like. But the ones that are impressive will, like you said, they stay in your mind and and I agree with you and like how Katie, like get them moving, get them involved, like don't just sit there.
Well,
We're
I
teachers, we
told
have
y'all
to
what I
move.
said in my interview. Did I tell you what I said in my interview to like my big boss? And we've never had this conversation that I said this in the interview, but like she liked me enough to take a chance on me. I said, "Well, I live by this motto, when the booty goes numb, the brain goes dumb."
Yes, yes,
And I'm like, I
yes.
still can't believe I said that on my interview.
But I
It
think
is
that's
true.
those sorts of things is what they remember. And they're like, okay, like she knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing.
So, thinking of PD, because how often do you feel like you walk away from PD and you now just got so much more work put on your plate? You feel like now you're kind of given homework, kind of like we give students homework. Do you guys, so that's another hill to die on, homework. Being in the upper grades, being in the middle school, high school level, what is your guys' philosophy on homework?
Katie, what did you do when you taught middle school?
So when I first got into teaching, my mentor was like, they need something 15 minutes every day. And so I'd send them home with like a half sheet of paper every day with something. And then as I got more into it, I kind of started like reading the kids, and the kids were shifting in like what they could do. And then I started seeing a lot of my kids were really involved in things before and after school. And I was like, you know what? I was like, besides our like, studying for a quiz or a test or, the once every 6 weeks big project, I know because I started having kids that I found out were helping raise their siblings, had to go home, cook dinner, clean the house because mom or dad were still at work. And I'm like, the last thing they need, because my subject, I hate to say it, is not a pivotal focus on state testing. You have reading and you have math that are huge. And I'm sure that's anywhere we go, right? So social studies and science wasn't a huge focus. Is it important? Yes. But math and reading always gave them homework. And I was like, if there's one subject where maybe I don't give them as much, I'm not going to. And there's people that disagree with me about it. They're like, oh, no, they still need the 15 minutes a day. And I'm like, well, if I'm 15 minutes a day, if science is 30 minutes a day, math is an hour, reading is an hour, let's do the math after school. Like, how many? We're talking like 3.5 hours. When are they supposed to be a kid? When are they supposed to do? And these are junior high kids. Like, they should be getting involved in things. So by the time they get in high school, they figure out what they want to do, what sport they want to play. Do they want to be in band? Do they want to be in marching band? What do they want to do? So to be quite honest, for junior high, no.
Yeah, I've been through a lot of different types of homework. When I taught second grade, our team did like you gave a homework packet, which was just extra practice on what we did the previous week. You'd give it on a Friday, and then they could turn it in anytime the next Monday through Friday, but it was due on Friday. And I don't remember if it was like worth anything or, what I did. Like, I don't know if I put it into the grade book or whatever, but that's what we did in second grade. In fifth grade, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing this because I told the parents, I said, I want them to spend time with you. I want them to learn responsibility at home. So if they, need to take out the trash or help do the dishes or whatever, I wanted it to be family time because you're not going to get that time back. And I felt like having a responsibility at home was huge because we've talked about this before. They're not going to remember that I taught them long division or whatever, but they are going to take the responsibility piece with them the rest of their lives. So that was that. And then I moved to Florida and all of a sudden state testing mattered a lot more. And now I heard about the school grade and I had never heard about that before, even though I knew it was out there. And then I was like, shoot, okay, now I need to give homework because now they need to be held accountable for this stuff, but I still don't want to put it in the grade book. And so now I think I'll give an incentive. And it just was like, it feels icky. And then I started to think, well, do I send stuff home in kindergarten? Like, is that? No, it's not okay because these kids are literally sleeping at parent pickup. Their head is down and they are sleeping because they are so tired. These kids need to be in bed, except the kids who don't know their letters. Then I send stuff home. I sent flashcards home because these kids got to know their letters. So, but homework, no. I'm going to say no in kindergarten.
Yeah. So I taught first grade for 10 years, and my team always did homework packets. And I absolutely hated them. Like, we would take turns, like, you create it this week, and then you create it, and we would rotate. And it would always be like a reading passage and comprehension questions, and then a math and like word work type things. And then we would differentiate it. Like, we would have a high math group and a regular. And so like the high math kids would get this packet and I wanted to so bad stop doing it, but I was worried that my team would be upset because now I'm not contributing. And I just felt like you said, like, what do I do with it? I'm not grading it. It's just participation. And I know, like, my one teammate at the time was very big on, well, we want the parents to know what are your kids working on and how they're performing. And I get that. I do. And it's especially as a mom, like last year when Oliver was bringing it home, I could see what he was capable of doing independently because I would sit down with him and like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this. And by the end of the year, I'm like, you are learning how to read and he'd be like, I can't do this. It's hard. But I'm like, yeah, you can. I know you can. But then it was just like a battle. Like, it became a battle with us. And like, I don't want that for parents. Does it teach them a responsibility? Yes. Does it show me what my kid is able to do? Yes. But I don't know if the battles are worth it. And then like when he was in kindergarten, he would get a weekend homework. It would be like a page. And sometimes it was like more of a project. But even that is like a kindergarten. It was more of like homework for parents. It wasn't really them. And like now teaching fourth grade, we don't send homework home. if the kids are not getting stuff done in class and it's because they're goofing off and they're not using their time right, we send it home and say, okay, now it's homework. Otherwise, we don't send it home. Like, we might have some like research projects that they have to do, but otherwise, like you said, I want those kids to be kids. When they go home, they need that time to relax and decompress and all those things because they are carrying so much throughout the day while they're present at school, emotionally, mentally, like everything. And the ones that need that extra help, when you think about sending homework home to have the parents help, they're not getting it anyways. It's the ones that are doing well who have the parents supporting them at home. So, like, it's such a great debate with homework. Either like, or yes, homework has to be there, or no. Like, but that's a hill that I will die on. That I don't think it's worth it. Does it teach them some of that responsibility? Yes, but there was a parent or somebody on social media once said, like, you're the teacher. If they're not getting enough, if they're not learning in those 8 hours that are with you, what do you want me to do? Like, you're the one and I know it's just extra help, but isn't that what we do in the classroom? We teach and then we have them practice it. So yeah. So I'm no on the homework, but other people disagree and that's okay.
Yeah, I had also told parents in the past, like, I expect them to be on it when they're with me. And then when they're not, then they relax. And then I need them to relax at home so that the next day they can be on it with me. Because I'd much rather have them focus during the day than at night.
And that's why
I
my
don't
kids
know.
are
I know
squirrels
that
at
there's
night.
thousands of other jobs.
My kids are bouncing off the walls like,
Yep.
because they've had to be focused and attentive all day long. And as much as it drives me crazy, I keep that in the back of my mind that I would rather them do that here at home than in the classroom. So, if it's been bottled up all day, we've expected them to be these quiet little babies. So, yeah, for sure.
So speaking of needing to move their bodies outside of school, kids who play sports, here's another hill to die on. Sports snacks should not be a competition. I have seen this. And literally, when I had to bring baseball snacks last year, we looked and saw what we had in our pantry and we're like, oh, we have 10 lollipops. Okay, cool. That goes in each of their bags. We have 10 oranges. Perfect. That goes in their bag. Like, we have 10 bags of chips. Perfect. 10 juice boxes. Done. Brown paper. We had 10 brown paper bags. Perfect. Here we go. And we're off.
Speaking of the grabbing stuff and going, when Hayes was playing soccer this fall, it was a Saturday morning and we're getting in the car and my husband goes, when does he have snack? And I go, crap, today. I'm like, turn around. We had just pulled out of our driveway, luckily. So we turn around. I'm like, I guess I'm driving separate. See ya. I run in our house. I'm like, okay, we have 10 brown bags. Okay, we have juices. These are the applesauces that are supposed to be for kid snacks. Nope, they're going in their bags. Like, they're all mismatched, but I'm like, whatever we have enough to fill 10 bags. And then I had to go stop at the Dollar General because we live in this small town that only has a Dollar General. I'm like, okay, the only thing I needed was juice boxes. So I'm like, okay, juice boxes, and you got to bag them up. And I'm like, the kids are getting I've grabbed a candy in our big candy dish so that they would all have a piece of candy. I'm like, well, and it gets rid of it. But yeah. And then half of the parents on the soccer team, their snack bags were organic stuff and all these nice food. I'm like, we just got whatever was in our cabinet that day because I totally forgot that we were in charge of snacks. And then with their baseball league, their rec ball, they have it to where when you go up to the concession stand, you can buy player packs. So they put together the bags for you. And I'm like, yep. You just go up at the beginning of the games and I'm like, I need 11. You can pick from different options. The price changes a little bit, but I'm like, yep, I'll do that. And then I just carry it in a laundry basket back to the thing and they take care of it. I'm like, that's easy for parents. So I'll go that route. But yeah, snacks are hard.
I just think it's funny that snacks are a competition. I'm like, it's food. Just feed the kids. It's all you gotta do.
It's
but the fact you want to compete about who has the better snack, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You brought an organic gummy bear pack. Good for you. The Doritos that were sitting in the back of my cabinet worked perfectly fine.
and they were all decorated and doodles on them. And yeah, it's like the birthday treats that they bring into the classrooms.
Yeah.
And birthday goodie bags.
Or like the goodie bags.
Yes.
So Carson, my soon-to-be 9-year-old, his birthday's on November 2nd, 2 days after Halloween. Last year, we hosted a party at our house, and I was like, okay, what do you want to do for goodie bags? We just got a ton of candy for Halloween. Do we have 10 of the same lollipops? Perfect. I went and bought the clear cellophane bags, and I was like, a lollipop in each of them. Go ahead, son. Pick out of your Halloween candy. You're not going to miss it, and you're also not going to eat that much because I'm not going to allow you to.
Yeah.
And I was like, we probably got stuff from like the Dollar Tree or the dollar section at Walmart or whatever, but I hate goodie bags. And I don't see why you need to give someone something for coming to, you're already supplying people with entertainment or whatever you're doing for coming to the party. You do not need to give a goodie bag. But this year, Carson's I said, let's do a bowling birthday party. And that way we go to a place and we don't have to clean. We don't have to prep our house. We don't have to supply food, nothing except for cake or whatever. And I saw on the flyer that they supply goodie bags. And I thought, I still don't want them, but I don't have to go out and get them. All I have to do is say, this is the amount of people that are coming to the party, and this is the amount of bowling lanes we need, and I need to bake a cake or get a cake or whatever, maybe a few balloons, and that's it. And it's not that I don't want my kid's party to be special, but he's inviting the kids. He's going to have fun, and then we're going to leave and go home, and that's it. Everyone's going to come and have fun and go bowling. That's it. We're good. We're good. I would say no goodie bags. No, I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't have all that growing up, but
yeah. But as a mom, as much as we find it to be a pain to have to put together and give out, I feel like it's just as much or more annoying when your kid is going and getting that, because it's like, oh, great, just more junk. Because let's be honest, it's always just little rinky dinks that are cheap because you're filling bags for 10 kids or more, and it is just little junk, like at Valentine's, or like the birthday trinkets that they bring in, and they're bringing them home and they're all these little tiny toys. I'm like, okay, can we throw those away? Because they're just going to lay around. You're not even going to do anything with them. We just need to get rid of. That's why even now, to the point I'm at, with birthdays, I would rather do experiences with the kids than toys and clothes and bags, because it's just more stuff. Our best friends were at our house this weekend, and their little baby, who's about to be 1, is crawling now and all over. I'm like, hey, I luckily had a box of toys in our basement. I'm like, here you go. If he loves any of them, take them home with you. Anything else you want to take, just trying to get rid of things. We had a cardboard box that was a castle. It was a beanbag chair that I bought for my classroom, but the box that they put it in was where you could cut it out and make an actual castle. She's like, where did you get this? It was a box that I ordered. I was like, you can have it. She's like, no. I'm like, no, for real, take it home. You can have it. My boys aren't going to miss it. Kids accumulate so much stuff. It's ridiculous. We don't need more stuff. I don't know. That's another hill. We don't need more stuff. It's not worth it.
So we talked earlier about at the end of the month, I have a 5K and Katie has a half marathon. Here's another hill to die on for runners. Race medals matter more than PRs. Thoughts?
I think it depends. If you're in a season of training, then I think that you're going for a PR. You're working hard, you're dedicating it. It depends on what your end goal is. Because if I'm just I know at my point of life, I'm not pushing for any more PRs. The PR that I had from 10 years ago is probably going to be the PR for the rest of my life. Now, could I maybe push myself? Absolutely, I could, but I don't have that desire. And if anymore now, I do it for that accomplishment. You know what? I just went out and ran another 10K. So I like the medals, and honestly, I was just having this conversation the other day. Sometimes I like just the shirts that you get, not even so much the medals, your race shirts. I still have pretty much all of my race shirts. I think it just depends on what your goals are and how cool the medal is.
I agree with that. I agree, because there's been times where I want that PR more, and I've chased that PR more than the medal. I'm like, okay, cool, medal's cool, but I really want that PR. But right now, I kind of just want to race for fun, and getting the medal is
Yeah.
fun. But I do have to tell y'all about a friend of mine. He is a anesthesiologist, but he's an anesthesiologist for pediatrics. And if I even told y'all like a fraction of his stories, he's like the real life, like Superman. He has saved so many kids' lives. Like it is incredible. And so what he does with his race medals, he doesn't keep them. He gives them to the kids that he will have like surgeries and perform surgeries on. And he's like, no, no, no. He's like, oh, well, this medal, I'm going to go take it to, and he'll say whoever's name. And he's like, they're going through a kidney transplant, or, we're going to go repair their heart. And I'm just like, if I told you half the stories, this man is like the sweetest man on earth. He's crazy fast. He's crazy impressive, but he'll take the medal and be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go give it to one of my kids. And he gives it to like one of the kids he's, helped save their life. And it's honestly, he's like, oh, I don't keep them. I give them to the kids because I want them to know, like, if they can ever run a marathon or a half, he's like, I want them to know, like, they have something like cool as well. So that's kind of he doesn't even care about PRs. He'll take the medal and give it to his kids.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Mic drop on that one.
I know. I don't even know where to go from that. It kind of makes me think of
Sorry.
my Columbus marathon that I ran, how like every mile was a patient at the hospital. And that's the one that I kind of did after my friend had passed away. And, like, it just makes me think of that, and how like I even started on the marathon journey. Just because it was like, okay, if she can go through this, then you just think about all those people who can't. But that's awesome.
Well, and he's run all the world majors. He's run Boston multiple times. And so he doesn't keep those big ones. Like even the big ones. You're
Well,
thinking like, oh, he's run Boston. No, he takes those and he's like, no, I want the kids who, are fighting this disease or whatever to like have it. And so I guess it just kind of goes to show like some people, they're like a medal or a PR don't really matter. They just want to go run and have fun and be like, here, I'll give the medal to somebody else who, may never be able to do that.
yeah. And like for those people that do so many, like what are you going to do with all the medals at some point? Like I know we were talking earlier, like I've got my medals down by my treadmill. We have like a shelf like along the edge of our walls with a windowsill. And I've got like my trophies, and I've got one of those medal hangers with some of my bibs that are still there. And I know I still have a ton that are just in a box that aren't even on display. And, Becky, you were saying like your medals hung up, but I've got like elementary kids who already have a ton of trophies from like our elementary races, to think about like as they grow up, like what do you do with all those? Right? It's again going back to like our stuff. It's just collecting more stuff. And it's like when somebody passes
Mhm.
away and you talk about like getting their things, but memories are just as valuable as those things sometimes, and knowing that you're serving a purpose. And I think that's amazing, because he would just have a trophy room probably.
Yeah,
And like, what is the point of that?
that like Katie, you bringing up that story is gonna be the reason why like I run Chicago next year, because when I ran Chicago in 22, that was the last race that my dad saw me in. And he passed away in December. And I'm like, I want to go run that, but not for me. When I did it before, that was for me. I was like, I'm
Mhm.
running in a major marathon. And it was my second one. The first one was virtual. I was like, this is one of the majors. But like the next time I go run it, which I hope will be next year, I want to go do it for him, because he followed me around through that one right before he got sick. So that was just that one. I mean, the medal's cool, but doing it, yeah, for other people. Like Allison, you said that you ran the Columbus one for your friend, and that just, yeah, I think those mean so much more. I mean, I could,
Mhm.
like, I'm going to run a 5K with a friend, and then in December, I'll do a half, and, I'll do a marathon probably in March. But at that point, like, it's to say that you can, and it's cool to have that accomplishment. And the PRs are awesome. I've been chasing a PR for the whole time that I've been running. And I don't know when I'm going to get it, but, at that point, like just
Yeah.
being a part of that community, which is how we found each other, like being
Yeah.
part of that running community is what really matters.
There
Agree.
was a half I ran back in I think it was 2016. It was 2016. Months leading into this half, I had a student and she was getting into running and she was like, I want to run a half in April. And this was like January. She's a very athletic kid. And I said, okay, you can do it. And she goes, can you write me a plan? And I was like, she had her planner open. And I was like, yeah. So I like wrote down like suggestions. And her mom emailed me and she's like, I want you to know she's like following everything you've told her to a T. And I was like, really? And so then she ended up signing for a half that I was doing. And her mom called me and she was like, hey, we're going to do this half. Are you going to be there? And I was like, yeah. And so I didn't want her to have like any time expectation, none of it. And so when I found out she was running that half, I was like, I don't even care what I'm going to run it in. I'm going to be there to run it with her. And we got to run at least like 5 of the 13 together. She ended up taking off and I was like, go, like, do not wait on me. I want you to go. Like, if you feel like you need to go faster, go. And she ended up finishing it, I believe, right at 2 hours, maybe right under 2 hours. And so she did like really good. But that was a race where like, I didn't care how I did. I wasn't there for myself. I was there for her. I even told like my running friends, I was like, yeah, I'm doing a half, but this is not for me. This is for her. Like, I'm here. I helped her get here. I'm going to make sure she gets like through it. And so that was another, like, you know, where you don't do a race for yourself, you do it for somebody else.
I was just thinking as far as like the giving trophies away and like the value and meaning. I had a group of girls, 5th graders. So this was been 2 years ago. They were in my running club, and I also had them as students in class, whether as 1st graders or in 4th grade. And it was their very last race. It was in the spring, and I went and watched them, and they won as a team, a 5th grade team. The girls did, and they got a plaque, and they were like, well, what do we do with them? I was like, you can have it. Because at that point, our school races, we were getting a ton of trophies. What am I doing with these? We only have so much space. So I started giving them away. If it was a team trophy, giving them away to certain kids that showed improvement or whatever and letting them keep them. The girls were like, what if I have it first? And then I give it to you. And then I give it to you. That sounds like a good plan. So I was like, you guys can have it and do with it what you want. Well, this would have been the last day or the second to last day of school. They come down to my room, hand me the wooden plaque they had won when we were there, and they all had signed it and wrote a message to me and gave it back to me. And I'm like, oh, sitting there just like bawling because I loved these girls. I had them in class. They were just the sweetest girls, and they wanted to give back. And that meant a lot. That's a keepsake forever. But that's when you feel like you're doing something right in the world. So we just kind of hit like a real like sad, I feel like, moment there for a while, which is good. We need that. But let's lighten it up just a little bit. We're in the fall season. Pumpkin spice. You either love it or hate it, and a lot of people think it's overrated. I love pumpkin spice season. Pumpkin spice season on everything is not the greatest, but I do love a good pumpkin spice latte or the pumpkin cream cold brew. Absolutely. I wish like my birthday, like when you get the birthday drink, it's like 2 days later and pumpkin spice comes out. I'm like, come on, man. Like just push it a couple of days because I absolutely love pumpkin spice season. I would drink it all year round if they kept it, but some people think it's overrated. What do you guys feel?
I am a huge pumpkin spice girl. Like, I'll have all the things pumpkin spice flavor. Now, there's some things that should not be pumpkin spice flavor that I'm like, ooh, they didn't do a good job on that.
Like Alani?
But like right now, yes, Alani did that terribly. Alani, don't do it again. Like, Alani, if you listen to this, no. Take your pumpkin spice and retire it. Don't bring it back. That tasted like a candle. But Starbucks, keep your pumpkin. I love it.
I love that you said it tastes like a candle, but yet you also love candy corn that is like a candle wax. That's a hill I will die on. Candy corn is not good.
And I have a 2-pound bag in my desk right now.
Candle wax.
Also, if Alani is listening to our podcast, then we're doing something right.
Right. And we all love Alani. So send us anything but your pumpkin spice one.
But we can do a taste test on here. Let's get the message out there.
I've been looking for that witch's brew ever since we talked about it, and I can't find it anywhere up here yet because I want to try it now.
I found it. I found it in Walmart when I got it.
Walmart has it.
Maybe I'll have to go to Walmart.
Yeah. Where's the closest Walmart to you?
I mean, it's in Fort Wayne, but I just have to venture out a little bit more the other way. I can't go to my usual Target or Kroger, but I could go.
It's been so long since I've been to Kroger. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a Kroger too, but we're HEB down here.
We're Publix, but
Yes.
yeah. So I'm good with pumpkin flavor, like pumpkin bread and, pumpkin muffins and things like that. I don't like the pumpkin spice latte, but I do like the pumpkin cream cold brew. And I don't like pumpkin syrup in the coffee, but I like other pumpkin stuff. But also, I'm going to be making apple stuff in my house for like the rest of time because we had apple day and I came home with apple cider, apple juice, apple sauce, apples. So our whole breakfast this week, because I couldn't leave it in my classroom. I didn't know who brought it in. I couldn't send it home. So I have an apple oatmeal bake. So I'm going to, pumpkin spice. Sorry, it is a little overrated. I don't need pumpkin spice in August. Sorry, I don't. Not when it also feels 95 degrees here every day.
Sometimes I just get it because I'm like,
I can't
okay,
do
bring
it.
the fall, bring fall a little earlier. But I will say,
know,
I was on a
wills it.
hunt last
Yeah.
week when we stopped at the grocery store. I was like, can we stop real quick? I was craving because the whole pumpkin is being brought back. They have a pumpkin cheesecake ice cream, and it is to die for. I absolutely love
Yes.
it. And I
That I
couldn't
could go
find it
for.
anywhere. I
That I
couldn't
could go
find
for.
it. I was so mad. So then I stopped at the grocery store again this week to look for it to see if maybe like it was just out of stock. Couldn't find it. So then I went down to like the small tubs, like where it's just the individual size that are like really 2 servings. And I found a small one. I'm like, I'm getting it. My husband laughed at me. He's like, I see you found a little one. I'm like, yeah, I was craving it. Like I was bound and determined to find it. I'm like, if pumpkin spice is out everywhere, they have to have my pumpkin cheesecake ice cream. Because I've gotten it in the middle of winter before in summer. Like, I know they have it somewhere. So good.
See, and I do like pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie, but
And you know what's it?
I don't know.
Again, you either love it or you hate it.
So I have to say, pencils should not be shared under any circumstance. I actually don't know that I understand that statement.
Like, kids shouldn't be sharing supplies. Like, you should not have kids sharing pencils. Because, I mean, it is kind of gross if you think about it. The kids, like, put them in their mouth and they're, like, biting on them. But it's near impossible to have them not share, like, and just have their own. Like, do you guys have community supply bins or they all have their own?
Yes and no. My kindergartners cannot handle sharing supplies,
Yeah.
but they do share pencils. Like I have a cup of pencils on my desk, and then if they need it, they come up and get it, which they're going to need it more and more. But like we have tables in kindergarten and not desks. So like they have cubbies on one side of the room. It just is too hard
Yeah.
to share, to
not share.
share, I should say, pencils. And I'm not a germaphobe, and they stick everything in their mouth.
I know.
Everything. And any supplies that lands on the floor goes into a community bin because I can't decipher whose yellow marker, whose green marker this is, whose blue crayon. Stuff is on the floor. So kids pick it up and I'm like, put it in the bin.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch it. And if I do, I'm going to wash my hands, but I'm not a germaphobe, and community supplies all the way.
In
Yeah.
junior high, we share it all. Like they're supposed to come with their own supplies. And if they lose it, I'm like, I used to keep just pencils in my center drawer of my desk. And then they're like, Miss, I don't have anything to write with. And I would just like chunk them a pencil. I don't know where it came from. Sometimes I found it on my ground. Sometimes I had some. Like it became the point of the year where I was like, I don't want to go buy anymore. So whatever they leave on the ground, I'll just put in my center drawer and then they can use and I'll get it back. So in junior high, they share it all but they're not like sticking everything into their mouth. Now they are still gross and germy, but that's their germs they can share. I'm not.
And the rate at which they go through pencils or lose pencils is ridiculous. Like I have the supply bin too, where it's like, okay, you put a pencil in and you take one. I'll fill that thing up and within 2 days, I'm like, where are all the pencils? Y'all came and got a new one, but where are the ones that you need me to sharpen? Like they're just disappearing. It drives me insane. And I'm like, I get to the point where I'm like, I'm not putting any new pencils in there for a while, but my pencil is like, nope. We did a pencil challenge that last year with my kids and I duct taped the pencil so I knew they couldn't just go find like a new pencil on their own. And we did a challenge to see who could make their pencil last the longest. Like, I would sharpen it for them, but, like, they couldn't lose it. They, like, had to make it last. And some of the kids were really into it. But my gosh,
So
they
I
just
have a friend, he teaches middle school as well, and he does middle school math, and he named his pencils, and the names would be on the board.
Mhm.
And he'd be like, I think, and he gives them funny names, like funny names. The one that's sticking out to me right now, I think he named one like Cleopatra and like Arthur II. And he's like, and he did the video one time where he put on his Instagram stories where he filmed himself. And he's like, where is Arthur II? Somebody did not return Arthur II. And I'm just rolling laughing because he's dead serious. And he's like, Arthur II's missing. His wife is going to be missing him, because he would like make the pencils like date or marry each other and be like, they're missing their partner. And it was comical. I was like, well, if you want to make pencils, and these kids are like, where's Arthur? We gotta find Arthur. Give them names and personalities.
I don't know how you would
Sorry,
keep track
my
of all of
younger
that.
son put himself to bed.
He writes them on the board. Now, he does teach private school, so his classes are a lot smaller, which is, I think, why he can do that. But it made me go, man, I should name my pencils. Like, that was funny. I should do
Yeah.
that too, because it's another thing, like, relationship building and, classroom management with the kids. Like, you're giving them a responsibility over this pencil that you give a personality to, and they feel like they got to take care of it. So
That is funny. They do have those like pencil toppers, like they're like erasers, but they're almost like Croc charms, but they're for pencils. You could give each of your kid a different one, and you could all have their name, and they could all be characters. That would be kind of fun.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm willing to try that out quite yet, but that would be fun.
So you mentioned Croc charms. I'm going to say it, and people are going to hate it, but Crocs should only be worn by children under the age of 10 years or under. Crocs shouldn't be worn by anyone over the age of 10.
I agree with that. I hate Crocs.
Okay, but what
I do
kind of
not like them
Crocs?
at all.
Like the big round Crocs? Because I have a pair of flip-flops that are leopard, and they are Crocs material, but you would never know they're Crocs. And they are so comfortable.
Oh, I think I'm talking about like the slip-on.
I'm
Yeah,
talking, the
with
regular,
the back. Okay.
original OG
Yeah,
Crocs.
They have like the big toe. It
Yeah, I
almost looks
know.
like they come up like a hill. They've come a long way, yes.
Yeah, they have. They have come a long way, but the regular Crocs, I won't get a pair at all. I will say, okay, so my kids are under 10, but I would not want kids to just like everyone's wearing all these middle school, junior high kids, they're wearing them all over, and Crocs with socks. Crocs are meant to be worn in the garden. That is, I
Yeah.
think, what they were created for.
And they make your feet
Because then you could
stink
hose
so
them
bad.
off. I have never worn a Croc.
My kids wear them.
I did
and
in
they're
junior
easy.
high.
You wore them?
So here's the funny thing. Crocs went through a phase like when I was like in junior high, and I remember that. And I was in junior high probably like 2005, 2006. No, 2004 to 2006 is when I was in junior high.
Crocs have
And I
been
remember
around
they
since
had a
2002.
Yeah, so I remember they had a phase around then, and then they died off because I didn't wear them into high school. I think it was literally like 7th grade. And then they
Yeah.
died off, and I didn't wear them again. I didn't touch them. And then I started seeing them come back, and I was like, oh, no. No. Like, Croc, no. And even then, I think back to my junior high stuff. I'm like, oh, why did I wear those? Those are ugly. Like the mistakes you make as a teenager.
I don't even remember. So I had to Google. That's why I had the look on my face. I had to Google when they came out, and I don't remember them coming out in 2002. I was in high school when they came out, but the big thing for us were the like the Birkenstock clogs.
Yes.
That was the
Well,
big
and
thing
then-
for us, and now
Yeah.
those are back.
Those are coming back.
And then towards the end, it was like Uggs. Everybody
But-
was all about Uggs,
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I had a pair.
which again, I
Yeah.
feel like Uggs were for
I still
ugly.
have my pair.
Because I do too, but they're not attractive. I don't know what the big fuss was about them. They were not that great. But my niece has a pair
I
of
remember
Uggs.
shoving
they're
my
still a
jeans
big.
into them.
They were the boots with the fur.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's the Ugg slipper things
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
that were popular. It's the Ugg slipper
like
things that are popular. And even then I
Uggs-
saw those and I was like, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's like Uggs meets Crocs. That's what they remind me of.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, was never one for any of those shoes. Give me a good Adidas flip-flop or sandal.
Slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even when we agree to disagree, which we had some tonight, we weren't all agreeing on everything. There is a common ground of laughter, honesty, crying, and community. So here's to standing firm on our hills, but never standing alone.
Thanks for sipping and sharing a moment with us today. We can't wait to keep showing up with you each week. Messy, caffeinated, and real.
And if you liked what you heard, we'd be so grateful if you'd follow, subscribe, or share this with your teacher, bestie, mom group chat, or training partner, or all three. It helps more people find our little corner of chaos and connection.
And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Espresso Yourself Podcast. Tell us what resonated, share your own stories, what topics you want us to cover, or just come say hi.
Make sure to hit follow so you don't miss next week's episode.
Until next time,
Keep showing up.
Keep giving yourself grace.
And espresso yourself.
one sip at a time.
Cheers.